So, new offensive line coach Andy Dickerson met with the media, talked about filling the shoes of Bill Callahan as the best offensive line coach in the NFL for the Browns.
Yeah, I'm a big flip-flop guy to start, so I don't really want to get into Bill's shoes. That's a whole nother world. But again, I've worked for Aaron Cromer, I've worked for Bill, and again, Chrome used to work for Bill and Drew runs for Bill a million years ago with the Raiders. So there's a lot of carryover. And again, I would watch the Cleveland Browns since Bill's been here to see what schemes and see what they were doing against common opponents or just different ideas. Like Bill's one of the best in the game, and that's. And the good thing is I was brought here to be Andy Dickerson, not to be Bill. And again, like I said, I'm a flip-flop guy, not a shoe guy, so there's no point even trying to slide into those things. But yeah, there's some carryover, and I talk to the guys, and it's like, oh, I remember we used to call it this, and hey, I want to call it this. And they're like, okay, cool, hey, this means this now. So it's just a translation game because, again, it's still a zone, it's still a gap trap. So different techniques, different styles, but they've done a lot of good things here. So I'm learning from these guys different techniques and different things and trying to figure out the best way to incorporate everything.
Tim, the more you hear the guys that they brought in talk, the better you feel. It's they're not trying to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what stood out with me with what Andy said about himself is that, he's trying to be himself. He's not trying to be Bill Callahan. He's trying to do things kind of in a way that he knows how. And he's had success with the Seahawks the last couple seasons. Mentioning, of course, he worked for Bill Callahan. He kind of comes from the Sean McVay trio there. So obviously what he's talking about, some of the stuff with what Bill Callahan brought over is still going to stick. Obviously, you're not completely changing things, but with Andy Dickerson, because like I said, because he's with the McVay tree, you're probably bringing a couple different new ideas, and I think that's the theme of these staff changes of the Browns being on offense is you're bringing in guys with slightly different philosophies, slightly different ideas, and you're trying to continue to evolve the offense. And obviously, we know what Bill Callahan did with this offensive line for the last couple of years, made them as good, one of the best offensive lines in all of football. And I certainly think Andy Dickerson, with what he's shown in Seattle, especially developing two draft picks into solid starters in Abraham Lucas and Charles Cross, you certainly has plenty of a pedigree to have created the offensive line play that they've had in Seattle and just to bring it over to Cleveland.